I can see that after polishing this whole car, there are a few scratches that did not come out with the Flex Polisher. That's pretty typical because there's some on just about every C5, C6, and even some of the C4s. These cars, this is the area that always has scratch marks. You're putting things in, you're taking things out. And this car definitely is one of those that has quite a few scratch marks in here. So here, I'll have a look at these scratch marks. Now those are the ones that we're going to go ahead and knock out. And when I can't get them out with a standard Flex Polisher, the thing to use is a drill. You're going to drill the scratches away? Well, crazy enough, yes. This is our 4-inch backing plate, which attaches both to a drill as well as the Porter Cable Polisher. This system acts as a rotary buffer, a mini rotary buffer, and it's what it takes to get these extra scratch marks out. So when you're done polishing your car and you still see some scratches, you want to go after them. Start with the orange 4-inch pad and with the swirl and haze remover. So I'm going to go ahead and put a small X. Okay. And then before I start polishing, I always want to prime the pad with a little bit of the detail spray. I always like to spread the polish out a little bit. If I just turn this thing on and start letting it spin, I'm going to spin wax everywhere, spin swirl and haze remover everywhere, mess up my shirt, possibly dirty the other cars in the showroom or in your garage. So make sure you dot the polish on first, and then we're going to turn it on. I'm going to securely hold the drill. Now you see I'm going over. I'm just going back and forth in long, slow motions. I want to see those, the polish should be breaking down. It should be flashing, and at that point, hopefully I'm going to see those scratches reduced. This could take 3 times, 4 times, even 5 times before I start to really get those scratches invisible. If I can't get them all the way out with the orange pad, at that point, and at that point only, would I go to the green pad with the severe swirl remover. So I stick with the orange pad first. I'll do as much work as I can. If I can't get satisfaction, then I'm going to go ahead and step it up to the more aggressive level. Now, this is the equivalent of a baby buffer. It is rotary. It does spin. It does create heat. Definitely not as much heat as a full speed, full-on body shop buffer, but you definitely want to be careful of the edges. Be careful of places where you have a rise in the paint, especially a peak on the finish, to where if you go along there and you heat it up, you can burn the finish. So this is definitely something that you want to be very careful with while you're using it anywhere near an edge. Before I go ahead and throw more polish on, I'm just going to prime the pad once again with some more detail spray and just see if I can't wake it up. Yes, I did. So a lot of the times the polish in the pad will dry. Well, there's 2 parts of the polish. There's liquids and there's solids. The liquids dry first. Adding a little detail spray will actually reactivate the polish, bring it back to life, and give me a little bit more time to go ahead and hit this. Looks good. So just as with our buffing pads that we're using with both the flex and the Porter cable, I'm going to step this pad now down from the orange to the white pad, which is our fine machine polish pad. And I'm going to put a very small X on the pad once again. And then always a little primer, the detail spray. It's always a good sign when you can't find the scratch again. Well, I've definitely reduced them by a bunch because I can't find them. I'm going to go ahead and take a double soft towel, give it a quick wipe down just to see how we did. No, I can see there's a little bit left. Okay, there's a little bit left here. What I've done, I've taken the sharp cut in the clear coat. There was a sharp cut. When there's a sharp cut in the clear coat, you can see the paint stop on one side and start over here. What we do with this 4-inch pad is we soften that edge. You take that edge and you soften it into a V. So you basically, you're not just dropping the clear coat down. That's one way to remove the scratch. Just take the paint all the way around it, drop it. Well, it's not really what you want to do. You don't want to be dropping your clear coat all over the place. So by doing what we did here, we reduced the visibility of the scratches by a ton. Again, they probably won't show up on camera at all at this point, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and do that same system, orange and then white, a second time. I'm going to get probably a whole bunch better at that point. Then I'll even take it to a third time and maybe even a fourth time. If after 3 or 4 times hitting orange pad, swirl and haze remover, white pad, fine machine polish, after 3 or 4 of those series, the old 1-2, that I don't get those scratches down to as invisible as I want them, at that point only would I pull out the green pad and the severe swirl remover and start doing that green, orange, white. These scratches are almost gone after 1 round, so I know that I'm not going to need the green pad for this car. We're looking pretty good now. I can no longer see the scratches, so 2 full rounds, orange pad, white pad, that was the trick to get these scratches out. Now, I can almost see under the fluorescent lights here that there's some holograms. Now the holograms are little tiny baby buffer swirls. You've seen the cars that comes out of the body shop. It's got buffer swirls, you can see where the buffer went exactly. Our little 62 Corvette that we had. Now that car had tons and tons and tons of holograms in it. Well, looking at this thing, it has little baby ones. The way to get those little buffer swirls out, those little holograms, is with either the Porter cable polisher or the flex machine. I think the most ideal next step for this is going to be to use the 4-inch pads on the Porter cable. And I'm going to have Dylan come down and show that process right now.